SYNOLOGYOnline.com. Anyways, I thought I would talk about some things before I get started with some of the repair videos that are coming up. So, a lot of people, my customers ask me this too, is what do you use for your equipment? Surprisingly, very basic. I actually fix thousands of boards all the time, and you don't need anything special. You don't need any special equipment. Now, there are some chips that may require a BGA machine, but not really. You could still get past that. So, and I'm actually going to show you the things that I use on a daily basis. I can't show you it all. There's so much of it, but what do I use 95% of the time? So, I thought we'll start with solder. Okay, so anyways, here we go. We're going to get a little closer here. Now, soldering iron wise, I use a few things, but I'm going to show you, and I'll set these aside. Surprisingly, at very low cost, you can get these. If you see this one, you've probably seen this one. Actually, eBay sells them. AliExpress has them, $5, $10. Has a nice little temperature control, and it uses the common fitting on it that a lot of you're gonna find. I believe it's called a T100. Can't remember. And this soldering iron has fixed, thousands of units. I've had this thing for 6 years. It's the one I use every day, all the time, no matter what. And you can pick one up, like I said, $5. What's nice about it is the tips it takes are those common ones. I believe those are Weller tips, if I remember right. And that's one of the things I do when I buy a soldering iron is availability of tips. Now, my partner has a really nice machine that automatically changes tips and does a lot. For me, I never found a need for something like that, so I never bought something that I really had no use for it. So, you can spend thousands in equipment, but to work just on Synology units, you don't need that much to spend on stuff. So, this one I like too because, here's the tips. They're very common. The tip I use mostly are these. I only buy copper, so believe me, don't buy silver, don't buy black. They don't even work, honestly. Only get copper. Copper's the best, and you'll love it. In fact, here's kind of like one of those black ones they sell, and they sell these chrome ones. Forget it. This is garbage. You don't want to use it. It doesn't work as good. It doesn't bite as well as copper does. So, and this is just a simple 60-watt iron, and I can turn it high for some heavy stuff. I also have another one that's this one's actually a 60-watt, but it actually puts out a little bit more. I use it sometimes for other areas. Same tip. In fact, all three of these use the same tip. This one I really like because it's a 90-watt, and this is for some heavy-duty cable stuff. Like if I'm rebuilding a power supply, for example, this guy, 90 watts, can handle some heavy-duty stuff. So if you're trying to get one, I suggest all you need is this guy. He does everything you're going to need. In fact, I invent things, so I'm actually working on a new style soldering iron that I think techs will love. In fact, if you own a BGA machine, you probably have something I put in there, because I do a lot of inventive things, so it's my side thing. So actually, let's look at some solder here, for example. So what do I use for solder? I use only 2 types. Alright, well actually 3, and that one's over here. Mechanics. Mechanics is probably the best out there for overall solder. I also use only leaded solders. Some techs actually may be partial to unleaded. Doing this for 45, almost 50 years, I can tell you leaded solders work the best. So, and This is a Weller. This is a mixed one. I only use the best solder. I don't cut back and use cheapos. This one is my prize and glory. So they don't sell this one anymore, and oddly it's made by Tech Spray, the same company who makes free spray. So they no longer make solder. I wish they did. It's the best. I happened to find a seller online on eBay that had a spool of these because I ran out. Well, actually, I was running out. And he had this for like $30, and I said, I'm jumping on it. So here I got another 5-year supply that will last me a really long time. Triple core. It's lead, like I like it. It binds well, and perfect. I suggest it to anyone. Believe me, if you do a lot of soldering like I do, you know what kind of solders work and what doesn't. So it's the best I've ever found, and I've used quite a few. So now, speaking of solder, I do use iridium-based solder for removing chips. Yeah, you can take any. Let me see if I have one over here. Yeah, here we go. So here's iridium. It comes in bulk, so I put it in this container, which is a toothpick container. Has a hole, and I can shake out little pieces because you only need a couple of little pieces. This is like Chip Quick, but Chip Quick's kind of pricey for one syringe and the work that I do, so I get my bulk for less than a quarter of what Chip Quick costs. So, and I get that. And here's the thing: if you're working on, let me grab it, like an EDOM, it takes this chip off, and I'll show you in a video. 10 seconds, it's off. All right. You want to take an Altera and do a swap, maybe 2 minutes, and you got the whole chip off with iridium solder. So that's one of my special tools. You don't need a BGA machine for it. Now there are some boards out there that have thermal pads under them, and no matter how much solder you put on it, you're not going to get it off because you're going to need either a BGA machine, or if you're handy with a Dremel tool, you can grind away the chip, take it off, put on a new one. I've done both. They work perfectly fine. Dremel's a little bit more cautious. You don't want to go destroying your board. So fluxes. Here we go. 3. I only use 3. Well, 2, and I'll explain why. I like fluxes that are clean, they don't brown, and they're easy to remove. And I've tested them all. Believe me, I've been through so many. I only ended up with 2. Okay? So this is probably the most popular one, is the Amtech version. I see people promoting it online, but honestly, I throw it away. As you can see, this thing's actually 5 or 6 years old. I don't use it because I don't like the browning that it does, and I don't use it. I actually wait until I run out of my other one, and then I dump this thing out and put in my other one because I like the idea that it's in a syringe. So what is the other one I use? Lo and behold, Kingbo. Yeah, Kingbo's been around for quite some time, and it works clean. It doesn't brown up as much. It's easy to take off. I put it in a syringe that was originally an Amtech syringe, and I put my own in there, packed it in. So you can buy tubs of this. The problem with Kingbo is 60% of the sellers are selling not real Kingbo. So from Japan, you want to get the good Kingbo. So look for the purple logo on it. That's usually when you have a real one. But you'll know. I mean, once you heat it up, if it browns up so quick, you probably got a fake one, because this stuff doesn't brown that easily. The other one is Kester. I've been using Kester for well over a decade, and I like it because it's a no clean flux. You don't have to clean it. It's perfect for small chips. You've put a few dabs, solder, you're done. You don't have to clean it if you don't want to. It's a self-cleaning flux, real popular in the GPU world if you're doing reball on a GPU. And I've done quite a few GPUs with this before, so it does the job actually. And speaking of sprays, yeah, gotta use that tech spray once in a while. Sometimes you run into that problem with a chip that could be heating and breaking down, and it's the only guy you're gonna be able to find it with. So now, I do carry a few other tools in my arsenal. Like I have a heat gun that I heat up things with. It melts heat shrink tubing. It's another Temu thing for like $10. And solder wise, this one I use for a lot of production stuff, like when I'm doing cables on a power supply. I like it. It's push button. It feeds the solder automatically for you. As you push it, it buzzes and pushes the solder, so you don't have to sit there with solder pushing with your hand and the fumes. So that's one thing I might have to do, is get a fume hood sometimes when I do these, because it gets pretty fumy. Now, actually, one of the things I wanted to mention that I use, you can pick up at a local hardware store. I get this at Menards, but a lot of guys clean flux and other stuff with alcohol. I do sometimes, if it's bulky or not, but nothing beats this. Spray it on and grab your electric toothbrush. Man, clean as a whistle. It cleans really good. This is the best. I use it on every board I work on every day, non-stop. So it's contact cleaner, but man, it does a wonderful job on getting flux off the board. It really cleans. Does a good job. Now, some of the things that for testing, multimeter wise, I use primarily this guy, and a lot of you probably even know this meter. It's one of the most popular. I tell you, this is the best meter I think that's ever been built for all around metering. I think the commercial, if you remember back in the 90s, was an elephant stepping on it, and it didn't crush. A car ran it over. This, oddly, they came out with many versions of this. I think there's an 87A. This is how good these are. This is the very first edition. It came out in the mid-90s, and I've owned it since then. So we're talking 30 years of constant on and off and meter work. It's the best. It has everything you need, even capacitance, but I don't rely on the capacitance for this one because I have other meters. But man, this thing is used daily, non-stop. It's on the bench and set up actually in a stand so I can read all the boards. And speaking of capacitance, what do you do for capacitance? Let me see here. When you do capacitance, I usually say get a meter that's dedicated to capacitance, okay? And I don't just read with one, I sometimes read with a couple. You can buy one of these, they're inexpensive. This one was actually hard to find. It wasn't that easy, but I like it because it can read in circuit, or I can put the part in a tray and then put my clip on it. So, or you can get one of these Queets, or even, let me see if I can push it over here a little better. Oop. Yeah, even one of these guys does the job. Now, multimeter wise, this is okay, but I use it only for capacitance. I don't use it for anything else. I use this, it's strictly for capacitance. It does inductors as well. Very inexpensive, under $20. I believe this one was 25. He was 15. So these are the three that hang around for odd things, not for the main stuff. The fluke handles all of the main items. So the other thing I did forget to mention, let me see, is I do use solder paste. Paste is used often for small chips, and actually a couple secret things we have to do on the 1815 Plus and 1515 Plus require this. So, and that was an agreement we have with Synology, and why I told you that nobody's fixing them right, because there's parts missing that need to be put on there that nobody's putting on. So, but anyways, the solder paste is strictly for that. There's one part on the board that all the 1815 pluses and 1515 pluses that require the paste, especially when you gotta put parts under chips. So, and that's what we do on the 1515 plus and 1815 plus. So there you go. I thought I'd give you a quick run out on some of the basic things I use. I do use an oscilloscope. I have many computers running in there. The scope is rarely used, but once in a while I'll find a clock chip that's dead and I'll check that. So, and later I'm going to show you how to do EDOMs the right way and how to tell if you have a bad EDOM. I see people posting that you don't know if it's bad. Yeah, I'll show you how you can tell if an EDOM's bad. Also, by the way, in my test arsenal is, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Harold. Now, Harold is a member of my group that I've had since 2007. It's a laptop group. It's very private. It's not open to the public. There's about 500 people worldwide in there. Apple and NVIDIA's in there too, and all they do is just monitor trend analysis for product failures. But I had Harold make something for me because when I'm working on Synology, there's certain things I'd like to have available for me. One of them is I had him make me an EDOM reader I can just plug into my computer and then copy the EDOM or change the firmware on it. It's really nice. He sells them at CMI Zapper. He's more known for selling a lot of Apple tools, but I had to make this because we needed it. It's really nice. I mean, it's got a green, red, and yellow LED in it to indicate data's going through it. It holds your EDOM. Before I met Harold, I was making my own, and you can buy these little circuit board things and build your own. Harold, actually, I had to make even this for us. It's actually a CPU checker for the Synology series. So what it does is you want to look for indications. You plug it in the EDOM socket and you want to make sure that it starts pulsing. So what that does during troubleshooting, we used to do it a long way, but like here's an 1815 board, and what we do is we would plug it in, and once the board's connected to power, I'll even show these to you in a working environment, but what it does is the center one will pulse green. This indicates that the BIOS and CPU is now requesting data from the EDOM, so you know you got a good BIOS and a good EDOM. You don't need to sit there trying to figure out, oh, is the EDOM the problem? Is the BIOS the problem? Is it memory? And actually in Synology, since memory is secondhand, there's a good chance it's a BIOS CPU problem. It still can be memory. It's extremely rare. On the AMDs, it's more common, though, if I don't see this flashing, that the memory could be an issue because they handle memory different than Intel-based boards. But this actually also, too, gives us the 5-volt and 3-volt measurement to make sure that those are there. But it's pretty neat. I like it. When he made it, I says, wow, I have him making something else for me, so I could do these, but I haven't had any time. Half the inventions that I try to do, I don't have time for. And neat tool. I suggest you get one. And I'll show you these working and how to use them with doing programming and testing. So, and I'll even show you how you're going to be able to test your EDOM if it's good or not through this. So one of the things I thought I'd show you is like, what do I use to read the serial port? Well, you can go out and get one of these. They're like $1.50 on eBay. Some I think even give free shipping. And you just have to, we only use 3 pins, read, write, and ground. There's a plus on it. You can cut it off, so you don't need it. But just these 3 is all you need, and you use the driver they give you. When using the driver, use the oldest one that's in it. So when you set up your Windows setup, make sure you use the oldest driver or it doesn't work. I don't know why. The other thing I have are these. I use a lot. And let's see. Sometimes I have to mod them, but this one has an LED in it, so you can read the serial port and see activity on the serial port. This one too has it for racks, because racks use the 9-pin. There's an adapter plug on here that I use, that I take off the racks, that I have parts, so I just use that instead. But this particular serial one, obviously, you can see the 3 pins. I have like red, yellow, and black. It's actually the white, green, and black that's hooked up to this end. So I just had it's not easy finding the little connector, so I just make my own. Actually heat it up and melt it kind of, and then shape it into the shape I needed. So, but these are nice. They so when you, because I like them because they have the LED indicators on them. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see, that one there has, it shows the greens always flash when there's activity. These are the USB to TTL adapters. So if you look on eBay, for example, just search that. These are the higher end, DSD Tech. So DSD Tech costs a little bit more, so like $20. So if you want a good one. This does the same for the standard, like 1815 models, the ones that use the 3 pins. So, for $1.50, that's like 80% of the people out there. It's all you need, and you can read your serial port. So, and if you notice yours is not reading, you may have switched the green and the white one on your board. And the 3 pins you use on your board, by the way, I don't have my board, are the 3 pins closest to the motherboard. The board connector has 6 pins, but you're only going to use the 3 that are closest to the motherboard. The other 3 are kind of away from the motherboard, so being 6 pins. I don't know, we don't use the other 3 pins, and there actually is nothing being used by Synology for it too. The drawing Synology has, I'll show that when we get involved in these, shows a 6-pin, but only 3 are used anyway, so I thought I'd bring this out to you, show you what we use for serial ports. For glasses, now, a lot of people, including me, I wear glasses, so, and seeing up close is the story, so just get these. Temu has them. You can change the lenses to different strength. Obviously, I have to double mine because to see up close real good. So I made these by just stacking another lens on top of another one. So I get like 25 times the power. I even went out and even made some. Like this one allows me to go from a far view to a close view. I use this one. It has even a little light in it so I can see the part. I don't even use the light. This one I use a lot, so it's something I made. So what this is it's the same thing, but it has headphones. I can listen to music or any phone call that comes in while I'm working, talk to a customer. So it's based on the same idea, 2 lenses, and if you don't wear glasses, you can still flip this on. So, and this is a concoction of sunglasses, USB Bluetooth audio, a light, so you can see what you're doing. And actually, even the front, I put lights in it, so I can see up close different parts that are so hard to see. So just giving you an idea of what I use, what I have to make in order to use. So, and I enjoy it. I like tinkering, so inventive ideas. So anyways, thought I'd show you those two as well.